Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills beat Ryan's New England Patriots in Week 16, and now they get to host Aaron Rodgers and the Jets in Week 17. Still potentially hoping for home field advantage, but right now I think they just want to maintain the number 2 spot in the playoff position with a win here. My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan, and we are going to break down this Jets-Bills Week 17 matchup. But before we get into that, Ryan and I, we want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. We hope you all have a phenomenal week with your friends and families. If you like the content that we put out and are excited for the 2025 offseason, be sure to subscribe to the Tracy Take and tackle that bell to get notified when new videos come out. While you're at it, leave a like and a comment. Let us know who you think will win and why. Ryan, Buffalo Bills beat your Patriots, not in the dominant fashion that I think we all were expecting. But I think for Bills fans, a win is a win, and that's all that really matters when it comes to this point in the football season. It started off shaky. I was getting really nervous for the defense as a whole with you guys going down. I think your first 2 drives put up 14 points, right?
Yeah.
So it's 14-0 pretty quickly. And I was like, shoot, are they about to put up, I mean, maybe not 40 points, but like is there a bigger problem here? Because we were kind of disregarding it for like against the Rams and then the Lions, like 2 top-notch offenses. And the offense against your Patriots, they are not a top-notch offense at all.
Oh,
they're like bottom tier notch.
So like as a Patriots fan, and like what I think should be scary for Bills fans, maybe not in this matchup, but like the windows were there for the Patriots to go and put up 35 on the Bills. I go back to the 3rd possession that the Patriots had in that game. It's 14-0, and the Patriots go. Actually, it might have been 14-7. But the Patriots go and they run a deep crosser with Kayshon Boutte, and Drake May just maybe he was thrown into a new direction and just like wasn't like maybe was thrown into a little bit of wind or what, but he just like vastly underthrew a wide open Kayshon Boutte in the middle of the field, and then that was kind of like the spiral for this offense. And then you had the 3 possessions in the second half all in a row that led it was fumble, interception, backwards pass that went for a touchdown that basically gifted the Bills 10 points. And so like for me, I think that's the scary thing on the defensive side of the ball. The scarier thing, if I'm a Bills fan, is that this defense was able to slow down this offense. So as I said, they kind of gifted the Bills 10 points with the Ramondre Stevenson fumble that went to a 3-and-out that they kicked for a long field goal. And then they had the backwards pass that was recovered in the end zone for a touchdown. That's the 10 points. That's right there. So they I don't want to say they realistically held this team to 14 points. And this is a team that has been scoring 30 plus for the last 8 weeks or so, 7-8 weeks. And that to me is more frightening because this, in my opinion, is not a good Patriots defense. And like James Cook had a really good game. Even if you take away the 50-yard touchdown run, he still had like 5 carries for 50 yards, or no, 10 carries for 50 yards. He's averaging 5 a carry there. And so like that to me is a scarier part, was just the lack of production on the offensive side of the ball. I think that more might be symptoms of playing in 7-degree weather than the Patriots defense actually finding success, but or like consistent success. But I do think like this is not a good defense. Did they uncover something that could be a potential game plan for teams in the future to combat this offense?
Well, and so one of the things that the Patriots defense has that a lot of teams don't have is Christian Gonzalez, and that's kind of what we talked about as well in the Chargers Patriots preview video for Week 17. Is the Patriots were able to provide a lot of pressure, and a lot more pressure than I think what the Bills normally expected, because you have Christian Gonzalez kind of locking down a receiver, locking down a side of the field. And a lot of teams aren't really going to have like that opportunity or availability. You can make an argument that the Jets could have would be able to make this maybe have that same opportunity. Sauce Gardner, he left this game with a hamstring injury, and Tony Adams, he also left this game with an ankle injury as well. So defensively, though, those are going to be injuries we need to monitor all week to see, because if they're without those guys, those are some of their top secondary guys, and then it's going to make it easier for the Bills to kind of go up and kind of do what they want to do in the passing game as well, to kind of have this high motion offense, see who's open, not really rely on one guy, but just get everybody flowing in motion. And if they're able to kind of reestablish the run as well, more traditionally with James Cook, who had a good game today, it's just going to open things up more for the team, what they're normally able to do. If you have a team with a lockdown corner like Christian Gonzalez, and not too, I mean, he's probably the best corner in the league. If not, he's top 3. So it allows for that
I
kind
would
of
say that. Like Patrick
to,
Surtain is at his peak right now. Like there's other guys that you could have up there.
Yeah. So we say all that though, and that's just going to be one of the interesting things for the Jets is, to your point, did they figure something out and be like, hey, should we just kind of do a not kamikaze all out blitz, but provide more pressure than we typically do, just because like we can't let Josh Allen just methodically control the clock and like move the ball down the field like how we've seen them do against like a lot of other defenses this year. But if they're without their top couple guys, like that's going to be unique on how they approach this game plan going up against the Bills. On the flip side, I will say, watching this Jets game, I know they only scored 9 points, and we already talked about this a little bit in the Rams preview video as well. But you kind of go look at the past couple weeks of the Jets, and I'm not saying that they are great by any means, but they might have figured some things out. I feel like that Rodgers, Davante Adams connection's coming on strong. It feels like they're starting to the passing game, starting to pick things up a little bit. And I just bring this up now. I know their season's over, but you go look at 2025. What are some of the things that they would want to do? It would be interesting to see if Rodgers and Adams and Wilson all had like a full offseason together. Like, how would they figure some stuff out? If they got another weapon in there. Offensive line has been playing better. I'll get to that here in a second. But offensively, it does kind of seem like some of the pieces are coming together. I know they only scored 9 points today. You got to think about it. They were at the 4 or 5 yard line to end the half, had to settle for a field goal, got back to the 4 or 5 yard line to start the second half, and went for it on fourth down and didn't get any points. Maybe it wasn't 4 or 5, maybe it was a 10, but still, like very close to scoring and didn't get any points. And then this goes back to the offensive line. To me, I think the big thing that really started to affect this team was Olu Fashanu left the game. He got carted off with a foot injury. Hopefully it's just hopefully it's not a broken foot. Hopefully he can keep playing, and maybe it's just he sprained it or something like that and he can fight through it. But if it's just a broken foot, hopefully it'd be like kind of an easy recovery going in the offseason, because it does seem like they found something good, and this was a guy that you were high on.
Well, he was the best pure pass protecting tackle in the class. He needed a lot of refinement and attitude adjustment in the running game, but he was a great pass protector.
Yeah, and so it does seem like they found something there at the left tackle spot. Because that was an area that the Jets' offensive line has just been struggling for a vast majority of the season. But since he's come in over the past several weeks, huge improvement overall. And so it stinks that he got hurt, because that was going to be an interesting thing of how did this offensive line go up against this Bills defensive line, who I feel like they play well. I feel like they have a good, consistent pass pressure and just good rush in general. A lot of guys that they can rotate through, and that's kind of what has slowed down a lot of teams overall. But like you saw with your Patriots today, I thought that they actually handled that decently well. Well, to start the game, it got a little worse after halftime in the second half. But in general, though, I think the Jets offensive line now not having Olu, how are they going to try and slow down this Bills defensive front? Because I think they're going to want to try and get Aaron Rodgers off kilter. But at the same time, though, too, as we mentioned, this Bills defense can give up some passing yards. Like they're 25th overall in passing yards allowed, 229 passing yards allowed on average. If you go look at their past couple of games, now I know these two games like include Detroit and the Rams, but even today they gave up 253, and this is team passing yards. 253 passing yards to Drake May, 473 to Jared Goff, 320 to Matt Stafford, only 86 to Brock Purdy and company. And so they've done a pretty good job in general before the bye, but since the bye, and I know they played the Rams with the Lions, but still, like they've given up some yards.
This is where I want to give myself some credit. I was not a fan of Kyrie Elam coming out of Florida a few years ago in the draft. Kayshon Boutte, who is a third wide receiver at best on a lot of other teams in the NFL, took his lunch today. He caught a 28-yarder on him. He drew multiple penalties on him, like caught multiple passes on him. And like that to me, I think if you look at Garrett Wilson, Davante Adams, those are guys that are going to dominate that matchup with Kyrie Elam. So for me, I think that's like, can the Jets just pass block long enough for them to be able to exploit that matchup? I think is going to be the big question. So let's get into predictions here, and I'll kick it off. I'm going with Buffalo. I think it was a pretty uncharacteristic performance by them this week. I think they came in. New England hit them in the mouth early. They got stunned a little bit, and then in the second half, they kind of regrouped. They weren't able to really throw the ball that much. Part of that was, I'm sure it was like throwing around an ice ball in that, like, it was 9 degrees, I think, at the start of the second half. So that's obviously going to inhibit the throwing a little bit. But they were able to run the ball pretty easily against the Patriots, like without very much fight there. So for me, I think the Bills are going to come out ahead. They'll have a much better performance. I think right now it's supposed to be 45 and sunny, which is like a nice summer day up in Buffalo. So,
oh yeah. And it makes sense then if there are people that are shirtless there. It cracked me up too for the college football playoff weekend, and you have like all these people playing up north in like these Big Ten stadiums, and like they all come like out like warming up with no shirts on. And even I think too, Jeremiah Love, the running back for Notre Dame, he got asked that. He's like, "No, these guys are tripping. It's cold out here. It's like 20 degrees." And so it's like, that sounds great. And I'm also going to go with Buffalo as well, even if it was 7 degrees. I just think Buffalo, I think they're going to right the ship. I think it's going to be a fun game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets do put up some points. As I've said, I'm kind of curious to see if they keep on building on this momentum, because I felt like the Jets were the ones shooting themselves in the foot because they just weren't catching the ball or they were being overly aggressive. Not just because of like a poor offensive line or like guys weren't getting open or anything like that, which I think is a better problem to have for the Jets if you're trying to figure out this offense. And it's going to be even more interesting, like if Rodgers can keep making a case for whoever comes in, like to keep him around for one more year to see what happens, like if he's able to put something together. But right now, though, it's Josh Allen's time. It's his team. It's his division. And I think they're one of the few teams that I think that could beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. So I'm going to go with the Bills here in this matchup.
Yeah, I just think the Bills are going to be the better team here. They're still playing to keep up with Kansas City at the hopes of getting that 1 seed. So I like the Bills this one. You do as well. So let's go ahead and let's wrap this one up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, go ahead and leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead in this AFC East matchup. Will it be the New York Jets? Will it be the Buffalo Bills? Other than that, we will see you guys next time.